Here at Franklin, we're roughly around 20 to 24 for our 2 kindergarten classes. At Shaw David, 22, 24, and 24. At Mahoning, 23 and 23, so that's pretty close. Then I go to East Penn, it's 11 and 11. Personally, me, as a parent, if I know that this enrollment is that low and my student could be in a class of 11, who wouldn't want that opportunity? Here, there's 26 students in 2 of the 3rd grade classes. At East Penn, there's 15. At Mahoning, there's 28 and 27. I mean, so you can see how, the balancing act that we have to play with this.
Let's reel it in. Reel it in a little bit because he wants to leave. There's no capacity issue.
No.
And in the business world, we call that a self-inflicted wound. If you're going to self-inflict, that you want to make sure that every classroom has the same number of kids in it, which is not a requirement. You've self-inflicted the wound.
I was pretty damn pissed as to what I found out there when I saw the plans laid out on the table in front of me for the first time.
We'll get into a lot
And
of
let me
that.
get back to when I was brought on the board and Jim Crakey took me to the Beacon Diner and proposed we're going to build an elementary school plan. You know what my answer back to him was? I don't think it's going to happen in this school district.
Now, Mars, I need some ideas if I'm going to get your town out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City ain't in any trouble.
We're going to have to create some.
That we definitely have some bus routes, especially at East Penn, where students right now are currently on the bus for an hour. There's no doubt about it, but we do have kids on buses for hours, an hour at least.
So we're looking at now studying that with them to actually help some of those students, for example, get on the bus right there by Mahoning, and they actually drive past Shaw David School to go out to Mahoning Elementary School. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me, but it's all
The lines, yeah.
It is a mess. There's no doubt about it. And at the high school, it's even difficult. And there's actually 2 separate parking lots for the buses and the parents. But so many parents now are dropping kids off. It's a congestion. So those are things that we're looking at.
And now for something completely different.
And there's lunch taking place. The kids are actually having gym class on a stage. And so that's, how fair is that to the kids, especially at elementary level? We don't have the room right now to let them run around inside and do different things. So this is me saying the board asked me to, get more information, discussion at the last workshop meeting, bring numbers back and to do more of a study on this type of thing.
And to build a school that looks like a prison.
What's that?
I said and build a school that looks like a prison.
If I say something about the hiring process, I think a lot of times, people are under the misunderstanding that the board actually hires the people. And I think what we're doing here, Mr. Cleaver is, what could I say, the final step or the leader of doing this.
Rewrite this one at all? Even consider an executive session after they got a copy of this agenda to look at letter H and consider rewriting it at all? Or any adjustments or any edits?
No, because that's the way it has read for the last several years, due to the fact that school opens August 25th, and we've always given any superintendent in the past the authority to make sure that we are fully staffed. So if somebody resigns, from now until we meet again August 25th, we can have somebody projected to fill in for a position if it may be first grade. Okay, so that has been in the past.
Is someone going to resign for first grade between now and then?
Not, something could happen.
Okay.
How it has happened in the past, but it's been so rare that the likelihood of that happening is so slim. need a motion and a second to accept the resignation of professional employee Trevor Gelati, effective immediately.
So moved.
Mr. Arnold.
Second.
Mr. Wentz. Discussion. Okay, so now this is a perfect example. We know we're going to have to be looking for a teacher. It's been so rare that the likelihood of that happening is so slim. Okay, so now this is a perfect example. We know we're going to have to be looking for a teacher.
Came into any executive session, and when I started voting no, some board members absolutely pulled me to the side and said, "Why are you doing it?"
That's a personnel issue.
Was it because he was arrested for corruption of a minor?
But there was no official, we're going to get rid of him.
Yeah, there's depositions going on because he was harassing the girls in the office. Now wait, just.
Well, okay, we can talk about that, because I've held that information and asked those people that I have, as when I was vice president of the board, my job was to seek out any indiscrepancies that were going on in here. And the reason I was at Attorney Schwab's office that day was to meet with 6 of the employees of this school district. And you probably know that because they probably said something. And I've held that information saying to them that some of them were Act 93 and some of them were union.
Now, Mars, I need some ideas if I'm going to get your town out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City ain't in any trouble.
We're going to have to create some.
Let's reel it in.
In our
Reel it
district.
in a little bit because he wants to leave. There's no capacity issue.
No.
And in the business world, we call that a self-inflicted wound. If you're going to self-inflict that you want to make sure that every classroom has the same number of kids in it, which is not a requirement, you've self-inflicted the wound.
I was pretty damn pissed as to what I found out there when I saw the plans laid out on the table in front of me for the first time.
We'll get into a lot
And
of
let me
that.
get back to when I was brought on the board and Jim Craigie took me to the Beacon Diner and proposed we're going to build an elementary school plan. You know what my answer back to him was? I don't think it's going to happen in this school district. I live over there and I don't think I can give my property to my 2 kids that they can afford to live on my property 20 years from now.